Blood trickled down Marcus Blackwood's temple as he lay motionless on the marble floor of his penthouse office. The cleaning lady, Elena Vasquez, gasped in horror when she found him there at 4 a.m., long after everyone had gone home. She had a choice: walk away and pretend she saw nothing, or risk everything to save a man she only knew as the distant billionaire who owned the building. What she didn't know was that her decision that night would unravel a web of betrayal that had been years in the making, and change both their lives forever. If you're captivated by stories of unexpected heroes, shocking family betrayals, and justice being served against all odds, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible true-life inspired stories that will leave you on the edge of your seat. Elena's hands trembled as she pressed her fingers against Marcus's neck, searching for a pulse. The building was empty at this hour. She was alone with what appeared to be a dead billionaire. Her mind raced with terrifying possibilities. Had he fallen? Been attacked? Should she call the police? Her boss had warned her never to enter the executive offices during her night shift cleaning duties, but she'd noticed the light on and thought someone had forgotten to turn it off. "Mr. Blackwood," she whispered, her voice echoing in the cavernous office. Relief washed over her when she felt a faint pulse. He was alive, but barely. Elena was a woman who had survived more than her fair share of hardships. At 42, she worked 2 jobs to support her teenage daughter after her husband had abandoned them years ago. She cleaned offices at night and worked as a home health aide during the day. Her calloused hands had cared for the sick and elderly for over a decade. She knew what to do in an emergency. She reached for her phone to call 911, but as she did, Marcus's eyes fluttered open. His gaze was unfocused, confused. "No hospital," he mumbled, his voice barely audible. "They'll finish the job." Elena froze. "Sir, you need medical help. You're hurt badly." Marcus's hand shot out with surprising strength and gripped her wrist. "My family, trying to kill me. Please, help me." Under normal circumstances, Elena would have dismissed such words as the delirious ramblings of an injured man. But something in his eyes, the raw fear, the desperation, made her hesitate. And then she noticed something else: the decorative letter opener on the floor beside him, smeared with blood. This was no accident. "My daughter," Marcus whispered. "Victoria, behind this. Trust no one." Elena's mind raced. She was just a cleaning lady. What could she possibly do against a powerful family that apparently wanted this man dead? But she thought of her own daughter, of the values she'd tried to instill in her. Walking away wasn't an option. "I have medical training," she said finally. "I can help you, but we need to get you somewhere safe." Making a split-second decision that would alter the course of both their lives, Elena helped Marcus to his feet. He was a tall man, imposing even in his weakened state, but years of lifting patience had made Elena stronger than she looked. Together, they made their way to the service elevator that only maintenance staff used. "My apartment," she said. "It's not much, but no one would look for you there." Marcus nodded weakly, blood still seeping from the wound on his head. As the elevator descended to the parking garage, Elena's mind whirled with questions. Why would a billionaire's family want him dead? What had she just gotten herself involved in? And most importantly, how would she keep her own daughter safe if she was harboring a man whose family wanted him dead? The drive to Elena's modest apartment in the outskirts of the city was tense. Every set of headlights behind them made her heart race. Marcus drifted in and out of consciousness in the passenger seat of her old Honda. By the time they arrived, it was nearly dawn. "Mama," called a sleepy voice as Elena helped Marcus through the door. Her 17-year-old daughter, Lucia, stood in the hallway, her eyes widening at the sight of the bloodied man leaning against her mother. "Lucia, I need you to help me," Elena said firmly. "This man is hurt. We need to help him." To her credit, Lucia asked no questions. She helped her mother settle Marcus on their worn couch and fetched the first aid kit Elena kept well stocked due to her work as a health aide. Together, they cleaned the wound on his head, a deep gash that would need stitches, and checked him for other injuries. His ribs were bruised, possibly cracked, and he had defensive wounds on his hands. Someone tried to kill him, Elena explained quietly to her daughter as Marcus dozed fitfully. He says it was his family. Lucia's eyes widened. Do you know who he is? Elena nodded. Marcus Blackwood. He owns the building I clean. He's one of the richest men in the city. And you brought him here? Lucia looked around their small apartment, suddenly self-conscious of the peeling paint and second-hand furniture. He asked me not to take him to a hospital. He said they would finish the job. Lucia bit her lip. Mama, this is dangerous. If someone wants him dead. I know, Elena sighed. But what was I supposed to do? Leave him there to die? As the sun rose over the city, news broke across all channels. Marcus Blackwood, billionaire CEO of Blackwood Enterprises, was missing and presumed dead after signs of a violent struggle were found in his office. Blood matching his type was discovered at the scene. The company's stock plummeted as speculation ran wild. Elena watched the news in shock as Marcus's daughter, Victoria Blackwood, appeared on screen, her beautiful face streaked with tears as she pleaded for information about her father's whereabouts. Beside her stood Marcus's son, Alexander, looking appropriately somber, and his younger brother, Richard Blackwood, who had taken over as interim CEO. My father was everything to this family and this company, Victoria said, her voice breaking. We are offering a substantial reward for any information. Marcus, who had regained consciousness, watched from Elena's couch with a bitter smile. Quite the performance, he murmured. Victoria always did have a flair for the dramatic. That's your daughter? Elena asked. The one you said was behind this? Marcus nodded grimly. My beloved daughter. She and my brother Richard have been siphoning money from the company for years. I discovered it last week and confronted them. I was going to go public with it yesterday. He winced as he shifted position. I should have known they'd try to silence me. But why would they want to kill you? Couldn't they just deny it? Because I have proof, Marcus said. Irrefutable proof that they've embezzled nearly $300 million. And more importantly, I discovered they've been using the money to fund some very unsavory operations overseas, weapons, drugs, human trafficking. If this gets out, they're looking at serious prison time. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Where is this proof? On an encrypted drive, Marcus said. Hidden in my office. They must be tearing the place apart looking for it. So what do we do now? Lucia asked, joining the conversation. Despite her initial reservations, she had become invested in their unexpected guest's plight. Marcus looked at the mother and daughter who had saved his life, people he would have passed without a second glance just days ago. First, I need to recover. Then, we need to get that drive. Without it, it's just my word against theirs, and to the world, I'm now dead. Over the next few days, Elena continued her cleaning job as usual, though she was now acutely aware of the increased security in the building and the somber mood among the employees. She kept her head down, just another invisible worker, while gathering information. Security cameras had been disabled the night of the attack, conveniently. Richard Blackwood had moved into Marcus's office and ordered a complete renovation, no doubt to destroy any evidence. Meanwhile, Lucia used her computer skills to monitor news about Blackwood Enterprises and dig into Victoria and Richard's backgrounds. What she found was troubling. Both had massive gambling debts despite their wealth, and Richard had been quietly selling off his company shares over the past year. Marcus, for his part, grew stronger each day under Elena's care. The man who had initially seemed so imposing and distant revealed a different side of himself. He spoke of his late wife, who had died of cancer 5 years earlier, and how her death had created a rift in the family. He admitted that he had buried himself in work afterward, perhaps neglecting his children when they needed him most. Not that it excuses trying to kill me, he added dryly. No, Elena agreed. Nothing excuses that. As they plotted how to retrieve the hidden drive, Elena and Marcus developed an unlikely bond. He was impressed by her intelligence and strength, while she came to see beyond the billionaire facade to the wounded man beneath. They were from different worlds, yet found common ground in their experiences of loss and their devotion to family, or at least, what family should be. 2 weeks after the attack, they put their plan into motion. Elena would use her access card to enter the building after hours, as she normally did for her cleaning shift. Lucia would monitor the security systems remotely, having hacked into them with skills that both impressed and concerned her mother. Marcus, disguised as a janitor, would accompany Elena to retrieve the drive. The night was tense. Every shadow seemed to hide a potential threat as they made their way through the quiet building. Marcus led them to his former office, now Richard's, and went straight to a seemingly ordinary air vent. They wouldn't have thought to look here, he said, removing the grate and reaching deep inside. His face fell. It's gone. Elena's heart sank. Could they have found it? No, Marcus said firmly. This was my father's secret compartment. No one knew about it except. His eyes widened. Alexander. My son. He must have taken it. Unlike Victoria, Alexander had always been the quiet one, overshadowed by his more charismatic sister. He had worked in the company's legal department, keeping a low profile. But why would he take it? Elena asked. I don't know, Marcus admitted. But we need to find out. Their answer came the next day when Alexander Blackwood called a press conference. Standing before a crowd of reporters, his face grim, he announced that he had evidence of massive financial fraud within Blackwood Enterprises, perpetrated by his uncle Richard and sister Victoria. Furthermore, he said, his voice steady, I have reason to believe they were involved in my father's disappearance and presumed death. Elena, Marcus, and Lucia watched the broadcast in stunned silence from their apartment. He's doing what I would have done, Marcus whispered, a hint of pride in his voice. But their relief was short-lived. That evening, news broke that Alexander Blackwood had been involved in a serious car accident on his way home from the press conference. He was in critical condition at City General Hospital. This wasn't an accident, Marcus said grimly. They're tying up loose ends. Without hesitation, Elena grabbed her keys. We're going to the hospital. It's too dangerous, Marcus protested. They might have people watching. Your son needs protection, Elena insisted. And you need to see him. They arrived at the hospital to find it swarming with press and police. Alexander was under guard, but Marcus, still disguised and using the ID badge of Elena's late husband, managed to get into his room by posing as an orderly while Elena created a distraction. Alexander lay unconscious, tubes and wires connecting him to various machines. His face was bruised, but the family resemblance to Marcus was unmistakable. Marcus took his son's hand, tears streaming down his face. I'm here, Alex, he whispered. I'm alive, and I'm going to make this right. As if hearing his father's voice, Alexander's eyes fluttered open. For a moment, he stared in disbelief. Dad, he croaked. They said you were dead. Not quite, Marcus smiled through his tears. Thanks to a guardian angel. Alexander's grip tightened on his father's hand. The drive. I found it. Made copies. Gave one to the FBI this morning. Marcus felt a surge of pride and relief. You did good, son. Victoria and Richard, Alexander whispered. They tried to kill me too. Cut my brakes. I know, Marcus said grimly. But it ends now. With Alexander now awake and under police protection, Marcus made a decision. It was time to come back from the dead. With Elena and Lucia by his side, he walked into FBI headquarters the next morning and told his story. The evidence on the drive, combined with Alexander's testimony and the attempt on his life, was damning. Within hours, Victoria and Richard Blackwood were arrested on charges of attempted murder, embezzlement, and conspiracy. The news exploded across all media platforms: billionaire Marcus Blackwood alive, family conspiracy exposed. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind. Marcus was reinstated as CEO of Blackwood Enterprises. Alexander recovered from his injuries and worked alongside his father to rebuild the company's reputation. Victoria and Richard faced trial, their crimes exposed to the world. And Elena? Marcus offered her a position as his personal assistant, but she declined. "I'm not cut out for corporate life," she said with a smile. "But I would accept help with Lucia's college tuition." Marcus did better than that. He established a foundation in Elena's name to provide scholarships for children of service workers, and funded a medical clinic in her neighborhood. He also made her a member of the foundation's board, valuing her perspective and wisdom. As for their relationship, it evolved slowly. Two people from vastly different worlds, brought together by extraordinary circumstances, learning to navigate their feelings for each other. Marcus had never known someone with Elena's quiet strength and moral clarity. Elena had never expected to find such vulnerability and gratitude in a man of Marcus's position. 6 months after the night she found him bleeding on his office floor, Marcus invited Elena and Lucia to dinner at his penthouse, the same one where their story had begun. "I've been thinking," he said as they enjoyed the view of the city lights, "about what matters in life. Before all this happened, I thought it was wealth, power, legacy. I was wrong." He took Elena's hand. "It's people. Connections. Finding those rare souls who see you for who you really are and choose to stay anyway." Elena smiled, thinking of how far they had both come. Sometimes the most unlikely circumstances bring us exactly where we need to be. Marcus nodded, looking at Elena and Lucia with genuine affection. "I was saved twice that night. Once when you found me bleeding, and again when you showed me what real family looks like." As the city glittered below them, the three unlikely companions shared a moment of perfect understanding. Life's true wealth couldn't be measured in billions or listed on stock exchanges. It was found in acts of courage, in choices made from compassion, and in the bonds formed when we're brave enough to see beyond appearances to the heart beneath. The story of the billionaire and the cleaning lady would be told for years to come, a reminder that heroes come in all forms, that family is defined by love rather than blood, and that sometimes, the most powerful people are those who clean up the messes others leave behind. And in the end, the greatest betrayal had not been what Victoria and Richard had done to Marcus, but what Marcus had done to himself, allowing wealth and status to blind him to the true treasures of human connection. It took losing everything to help him find what really mattered. As Elena looked at the man whose life she had saved, she realized that in many ways, he had saved her too, from invisibility, from the grinding routine that had defined her existence, and from the belief that people like her didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Sometimes, the most profound changes begin with the simplest choices: to stop and help when it would be easier to walk away, to see value in those society overlooks, and to believe that even in our darkest moments, redemption is possible. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more tales of unexpected heroes, second chances, and the extraordinary moments that remind us what it truly means to be human.